Against the sun, now we race. Against the sun, race. Against the sun, now we race. Against the sun. I always seem to make the same mistakes. Too quick to fall, too fast to push away, away. I miss the warmth of your touch and your embrace. No one ever made me feel so safe, so safe. Slow down, don't forget me now. I don't wanna fade out of your memory, your memory. Hold up, I know I had my doubts, but I want to fade back into your memory, your memory, your memory.
Alrighty folks, welcome. This is What is this? This is going to be Group H for the Ro32 of the Chopo Star League. I am TB Ham. With me is Kawali. Kawali.
Yep.
I don't know why. I always want to say K.O. Ollie.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
K.O.
it's
Ali.
like Wally.
Yeah.
So it's like the name of one of my stuffed animals when I was a kid. Stuffed Wally.
I actually never knew that.
Yes, that's the origin of the name.
That's hilarious.
And I thought, like, of course, like Zero is definitely like cooler than, just O's. So
And of course, it didn't help that when you started in the league, you were on Lucky 13, so everybody just assumed you were from New Zealand or Australia. And you're not.
no, I remember having like really weird conversations with people early on where they'd be like, "Oh, how's the weather in Australia?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I have no idea. Let me like Google that." For you."
Yeah, that was. It's always. I still think people probably had that assumption, and of course you were abroad last
Yeah.
semester, so you weren't abroad in like Australia or anything, but you were still not actually in America, and so you're like you would show up at times that would almost make sense, I guess, for someone in the C region, but not quite.
Quite the enigma.
But we are going to actually getting directly into our first map. I didn't even introduce anything about this group today, but go ahead and start into our first game here. Spawning in the top right. I didn't actually put players' teams up. Oh well. Our Zerg player from Team Azusa in yellow. This is Xylo.
And in the top left-hand position, we have from Team All Inspiration, Detner. Is that how you pronounce the name, I assume?
Yeah, it's the only way I've ever pronounced it.
Okay. It's kind of like Detner.
And actually, kind of speaking of not American people, no one in this group is like from America. So Detner
Right.
being Canadian, and then Xylo is he's Dutch. And then our two players later on, Kerouac from Formless Gaming is apparently Mongolian.
Really?
He lives in America at least, but he does claim to be a Mongolian. And then Picker is Canadian as well. So
Okay. A little bit of an international flavor.
a lot of international flavor. And ZVZ being ZVZ, we do have, of course, in the first game, an early pool. Temple
Yeah.
gas, yeah.
So this is looking like it's going to be that kind of standard 10-pool bane that we're seeing all the time, the bane of Zerg existence. And since this is a four spawn map, so ZVZ is always super difficult on a 4 spawn map. It's so hard to like scout your opponent before they do any sort of crazy shenanigans. And then so looks like Zulu has decided to go for those early shenanigans you were mentioning.
Yeah. I guess wait to see if he's just going to get speed and then pull out a gas, or he just want to go banelings. He didn't really do any extractor tricks at all to get out any extra drones or anything. So I would guess banelings. I don't know. I assume. I don't really know. I don't do this kind of a build very often.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, I don't 10-pull that often.
No, I don't really either. It looks like I feel like he may have made a little bit of an error here because he's like building an extra overlord.
Oh.
Not sure what that is. Maybe he just needs a supply for later on. On the other side, Denner is going for super standard. This is like quintessential ZBZ with the 15 hatch, following up with pool gas. So yeah, it looks like it will be speed. So maybe like some sort of ling rush instead of just. So I guess that's what he's going to use that overlord for, just to get a ton of lings and like flip them all at one time, counting his opponent not to scout.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of just had to be the hope for Xylo is being able to just catch Detner completely off guard, and it has a pretty good chance to work because I mean Detner's first overlord is going to go into the main base over here, so it's not going to see if there isn't a natural. He's not going to know that necessarily. All he's going to see is a queen. If he's not going to be able to get in, probably he won't be able to see the gas either. And I mean Xylo knows that this overlord's coming in, so he's going to deny it. So Detner's just going to be completely blind unless he tries to sacrifice his overlord, which would be an absolute disaster for him early on.
It's like super frustrating positioning for any Zerg player, like just scouting at the absolute last moment. So he knows that something may be up, so he's just going to put down that spine. But will it be done in time? So, speed is 30 seconds away from finishing.
I don't know if it's going to matter because that's a ton of lings. There's that spine caller coming. Detner's going to have 2 queens. But this overlord actually might bait the queen to be completely out of position, so he needs to wall off the ramp with the queens. It's pretty much his only opportunity to actually survive in this game. If he gets 2 queens on the ramp, is able to block that off, and then he'll have this spine crawler down here that can pick off a bunch of lings, but these lings are already walking across. The queens will not make it.
Sprinting sprinting their way across. Oh, this is so rough for Denner. He has really no idea this is coming. And there goes the Lynx. This is his first idea that anything's going on. And his queen is just totally caught out of position and able to be surrounded and killed. Oh, this is such a challenging hold, already losing a queen. And so just like running straight into the main where this spine is halfway done.
Yeah. With 2 queens down already, the spine's gonna go down before it actually finishes as well. Means I think Denner's gonna lose everything. He's got speed on the way. Obviously, he has a natural base, so he's trying to evacuate to there. But that means his main is gonna be completely undefended. And
yeah, and his Lynx just as they're spawning are just being picked off since they don't have that speed. And there goes the GG. Quick victory for our Zeus Zerg.
yeah, not a huge not a huge surprise seeing early kind of a cheese play. I don't know, it's not necessarily cheese play, it's the state of ZVZ.
Yeah,
it's
especially
just
on
how
like a
it
4-player map. I mean, that's like
Oh, yeah.
not entirely unexpected at all. But it was slightly unexpected to me, at least, that it worked out so well. I think like that everything kind of went wrong for him. His scout was in like the worst possible position. Of course, he has like no way of knowing that, but just was like super unlucky. And then his queen was on that journey to kill the Overlord and just totally caught out of position. Like you mentioned, if he had been able to get a wall up with those 2 queens and then use the 2 spines to kind of do that bashing damage, maybe then he would have had a good plan to hold. But then just losing that early queen, it's basically impossible to hold at that point.
Yeah. When you're going up against an early pool, especially an early pool in speed on the way at you, you have to be able to wall off. You have to have something. I mean, Detner's his gas wasn't like extremely late or anything. He went for a gas pretty early. He had speed coming. It's just at that point you've got to find a way, because your speed's gonna be so far behind. You have to find a way to defend without that, and which means walling off. And it just wasn't seen quickly enough. I think it was just a perfect kind of series of events there for our Judge Zerg player to go up 1-0.
Yeah, that really is like such a good feeling, and especially like the ZVZ matchup where it's like so like volatile, just to pick up that first game and then know like, you know, if my opponent does some sort of crazy like 6-ball, gets like amazing baneling hits, like then I can always go into game 3 because I just have that 1 game advantage. But for Denner, this is going to be, he's kind of down to the wire here. Like he can, like we've seen that ZVZ can go for like any build, so it's going to be a bit intense.
Yeah.
For this game number 2.
I honestly, I don't know how many different builds Detner has as a Zerg player. He very recently switched over to Zerg.
Yeah.
In the past 2 months or so. He was playing random last CTL season, and now he switched to playing between Zerg and Protoss, and he qualified as Zerg, so he's playing Zerg for this tournament, but still a very new race to him. And I guess we're talking about him. Introducing our player in the bottom right in red. He is down 1-0 here in the Best of 3 series. It is from All Inspiration, it's Detner.
And in the top left-hand position, in the yellow, these use the Zerg, Zigu, with their fish logo, the angry fish.
It's actually, their main logo isn't an angry fish, it's a regular looking fish.
Really?
Okay. I prefer the angry one that Boz was posting with those
yeah.
trash talk threads. That was hilarious. That was one of the funnier logos I've ever seen.
Yeah, this fish does look he looks a bit confused, I would say. This is a confused fish.
So I'm honestly thinking about downloading that fish image and replacing it.
I think you should. Just make like an executive decision there.
For the overlay, because I don't know, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I thought I had just missed the angry looking fish part of the logo whenever I first looked at it, and then I found out that it actually wasn't in their original logo. And I don't know, man, it looks pretty awesome. But there we go, 13 pool, 12 gas at a Detner here. So I don't know. I mean, the build that I usually know is 13 gas, then pool to banelings, but I suppose you can do the same thing with this.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're getting, early gas, that definitely opens the Zerg player up to any sort of aggressive possibilities. You can do like the speedling thing that we saw from Ziegler, or like you mentioned, go for the Banes. And Ziegler, on the other hand, is playing it safe. He's going for the 14 pool. 14 pool, 16 hatch. Looks like, oh no, he's just going to do 15 hatch. So 14 pool, 15 hatch for him. Definitely not the safest build, but safer than going just for that 15 hatch first. And then he's getting his own gas.
Yeah. So with the gas behind this for Zulu, he should be okay against anything that Detner does decide to throw out at him. I'm just curious if Detner's going to go for just gas and pull off. There he is. Yeah, he's just pulling off, so he's just getting speed quickly.
So it's basically just mirror builds.
Yeah.
It's what we saw last game. Detner is going to be the aggressor this game. So we're going to have to see if Ziggler can do a little bit better job holding that off. This map, again, has that small ramp that you can easily wall off with those 2 queens. So if he's able to get like that in position, if it's really going to come down to if he can scout this. So here goes the Ziggler Overlord. And it's going to see no hatch for his opponent. So he knows definitely that something's up because it's the 4-minute mark. There should be hatch down. And he's even going to see these 6 lings running across the map. So Ziggler he should be pretty aware of what's going on. And indeed, he's going for the Baneling Nest, the early Baneling Nest instead of waiting for speed, and a Spine Crawler. So he's playing super safe, super defensively.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for Zilo to actually hold his natural here. He doesn't really have everything down. That's why, he's making the Spine Crawler up top in his main base, so he could try to transfer that down, but he's only got 1 queen right now, and he's going to have some lings against it, so he's going to have to rely on hopefully getting some Banes out and using those to defend. And Detner, he's ignoring the natural base there, but the ling advantage he doesn't really have just yet. He's got to wait for his lings to get across, and of course his speed isn't finished yet either. Finish up here in just a second, and just continually making a lot of lings, but if Zilo pushes us away, he can start making banelings, which he is. There we go, 1 bang down. Detner's he's got to rely on speed to micro around whatever few banelings that Zilo does have, and Detner sees the bane there. He sees it morphing right in his face. Maybe we can just run right past it and see what we can do. Oh god, banelings.
Yeah, this is like definitely like the tensest moment of ZBZ micro when it's just you only have speedlings and your opponent has banelings. So that actually really good job from Detner, getting one of those banelings exploded. If you can get a second one here, oh, almost. It's in the red. Really needs to pick that baneling off, because once he gets that baneling dead, you can just kind of run right back in and engage those things directly. Oh, decent hit, but not really the explosion that Zilo is looking for there.
Yeah. So Zilo is forced to make a lot of banelings over and over, and actually there's a lot of lings here now for Detner, and this could potentially snowball. He should go pick off these banes first. There you go. Picking off the banes there, pick up the queen.
It'll be very
as well.
tight.
Oh god! Oh no, that's gonna finish.
Oh no, it's gonna finish. Okay, decent hit. Not like a huge hit for Ziggler, but yeah, Detner still does have those lings. He has a pretty large ling advantage, 19 lings to 12 lings with his opponent, and it looks like he's gonna be able to get this hatch.
Yeah, getting that hatch is nice, and the problem is that the ling advantage is going to be in Zilo's favor here shortly. And he's going to have this Bane Nest as well, and with Zilo's speed finished, Detner does have to back off, and he's going to have to find a way to defend himself at this point, because Zilo, he realized he lost his natural, so he's got to do something. He sees that the natural is finished for Detner. Detner trying to make 2 Spine Crawlers down below, but without any baneling support, and that's 6 banelings morphing in for Zilo over here.
Yeah, this will be tough.
This is going to be a rough hold once again for Detner. Does he have any more than just 1 queen? He's got 1 queen right now. I like that he is spreading creep to his natural or his main ramp here, so he could try and get something done, but lings are starting to flood in already for Zilo, and all these banes coming in as well. Detner has to be really, really careful not to lose all of his lings at once, which he's put himself in a really rough spot. A couple banes go down, not the greatest of trades here, and honestly, the longer Detner kind of just survives, the better he should be, and there's only 1 bane left. She explodes on the queen, which kind of sucks, and 14 lings on the way for Detner. He's going to lose another queen, but he should be able to retain his natural.
Yeah, he really needs to bring these 2 queens from the main down to his natural to kind of help out with the fight. I think he's waiting for those lings to pop, like you mentioned, those 14 lings, but he really needs those queens to just help out so much. And he actually has enough for a transfuse on his main queen, so if he can just bring that down, transfuse the hatch, it'll definitely stay alive. And he does have his own baneling nest on the way. So Detner, he's in a pretty good spot right now. Obviously, he has like that drone lead, he has a ling lead. The only thing that
he doesn't have a drone
really
lead, actually.
Yeah.
He's actually 4 workers or 5 workers behind now. He's been making lings so heavily. He's only, he's on half a base saturation right now. He's got two drones in gas and 9 on minerals at the moment. He's just pumping lings. He's gonna just go counter again, I think. And maybe Zilo thinks that, okay, this stage of the game is over. This ling bling crap is over. I'm just gonna make a few safety banes back home and drone up. And if he gets caught droning, it could be pretty disastrous here for our yellow Zerg player. But his overlords should be able to see everything moving across the map just fine. And actually, Detner is going to start pumping out a few drones. He does need to catch up. He does have the earlier natural. His natural's finished, and it is being injected as well. So his larva, he's going to have a lot more larvae. That's all there is to it. He's just going to have a ton more larvae than Zilo for a while.
Yeah, it's now, like you mentioned, Ziggler has a pretty huge drone lead, actually. You know, he's sitting on an 8 drone lead, which in this phase of the game is really big when you're thinking of 17 workers to 25 workers. So it's like definitely a huge boost for his income. And if you can kind of keep that alive and maintain that, as it looks like he will, because Detner is going for those roaches, that Ziegler is going to be able to scout this. So, looks like the game is kind of resetting, like you mentioned, going out of that Ling Bane phase, with Ziegler going for the lair and Detner going for his roach horn. So I guess we're going to see more of a transition into kind of a later game, like more of a macro game here.
I'm just waiting for more gas from any player at the moment. I mean, Zilo, he really doesn't need to. He's got 150 gas banked at the moment, and he's going for the ranged upgrade immediately. And he's going to he cancels the second Evo and goes for Roach Worm, which is probably the better decision here. Get a few more minerals and not have to make another building. Obviously, that second Evo isn't really worthwhile in Roach versus Roach for a little while. And in Zilo, he did see the Roach Warren coming down for Detner so long as he actually clicked on it. But I mean, what else is that going to be at this stage of the game? I guess it could have been an Evo chamber back there. But yeah. I really think Detner, he had a timing. He had a lot more unit production available. He could have just walked in with all of the Lings and Banes that he has back home and just kept pushing into the natural of Xylo and pushed that and maybe killed that off once again, taking a bigger advantage to go into those roaches. But again, I think this can maybe chalk this up to Detner hasn't been playing Zerg that long. He doesn't necessarily know, you know, maybe I have a lead right now. Maybe I can do a little bit more aggression. Maybe I don't need to sit back at home right now. He's taking a third base, though.
Yeah, I think it kind of fell into that classic Zergy trap of making units at the wrong time. Ziegler was kind of like, okay, this is the end of the phase, like you mentioned, so I'm going to drone up. Whereas Detner just kept making those Lings and Banes, but didn't really do anything with it. As we can see, they're just kind of chilling at the front of his base, so they've been the entire game. And then as the game goes later and later, and the players start getting roaches out, especially once you get like roaches speed and upgrades, Lings and Banes, like unupgraded Lings and Banes, are virtually useless, and just can't really do much. So that's really going to come back to bite him. He's down 5 drones to Ziegler's 39.
Yeah,
and that's not a huge difference, but it's a pretty sizable difference, especially since they're only on 2 bases, and it's a mirror matchup.
Yeah, Zilo, he's pumping out a ton of roaches right now, and I think Detner's going to be the one who's going to be caught droning for a while. I mean, all these Lings and Banes, it could have been 9 more drones right now, instead of having these out doing absolutely nothing. I mean, really, what is he doing? And he's even making a Spore Crawler in each of his bases. He's blind enough that he thinks that his opponent may be going for mutas, but yeah, that's not the case. And that's just, I mean, that's 200 minerals and 2 lost drones right now that he can't really afford to lose. I mean, he's making roaches now. He's gonna lose his third base. Hopefully he doesn't try to sit there and defend it madly or anything, and hope that he can keep it alive, because I don't think it'll happen. I mean, Zilo doesn't have a ton over here, but it is enough to knock down the third and kill the entire army if Zetner walks in without enough of an army to actually go for this. But he's gonna go for it, and the Bane's gonna roll in and get connections. And actually, this is gonna be
decent hits. Yeah, it's actually gonna be able to force these roaches to back off.
Oh no, the poor
roach
pathing.
Is running the wrong way.
Oh, Terraform.
That's really unfortunate there. Yeah.
Terraform is such a weird map.
It really is. It's so narrow.
Like, you see how those roaches, some of those roaches split off north, and then some tried to go back, and he clicked in the same spot with both of them. It's just some were a little bit closer, so it was a faster way to go back through the roach army of Detner, which kind of sucked there for Zilo, but he's still got a bit of a roach lead right now, 23-19, and he has an upgrade advantage, and he has +2 on the way as well, so now this natural or third base should go down. Yeah, it's going to go down, and Zilo's going to get out of there.
Yeah, so he's really...
Oh, again!
Yeah, the roaches going the wrong way again. And yeah, here goes the 4 more roaches, just kind of donating themselves. Actually, only 1 goes down. It's not a huge loss for Zigu, but he really needs to start thinking about his own third base. He is going up to that +2 attack, and then he has the Evo Chambers, but he doesn't have upgrades started just yet. So a little bit unfortunate there for him. Zigu, if he can get the +2 attack when his opponent is at 0-0, that's a pretty huge advantage when they're just both on roaches.
Yeah, going for the Carapace upgrade is Detner as well. He's going for both Carapace at once. He has the money to do that. He doesn't have, well, I was going to say he doesn't have a ton of larvae, but he's got 18 larvae. He's got a lot of money banked up. That could probably be 18 whole roaches. He's just not making anything right now. He's making a Hydra Den. Maybe hopefully he can get up to there. But we got 11 roaches here coming out for Detner. Finally, so he can almost even up the roach count, but again, this upgrade differential is going to be huge because is Xylo, if he attacks with +2, he's going to have a 2 upgrade advantage for a good 10-15 seconds in the fight, and probably a roach advantage as well, which is just, that's going to be absolutely massive. So hopefully for Detner's sake, he starts pumping out a lot of units. He's going to get in and see that this third base is just now coming down for his opponent, so he knows he doesn't necessarily need to make a lot of units. And here comes the pause that Zelo did promise. I think he has pizza here, so we are going to take a moment.
It was a little important here. I'm just kind of looking at the state of the game. Detner he went for quite a fast Hydra Den. What's kind of your opinion on Hydras in the ZZ matchup? Like, do you think that's a good move, or?
Personally, I almost completely avoid Hydras.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I like being able to find opportunities where I can take an engagement and remax on roaches, and have a lot of the bulkier units of the roaches. Especially since generally I will attack with like +1 and then +2/1. And going for those timings and not trying to worry about the timing where +2 characters is actually going to kick in and be a factor with Hydras out of the map. So I don't know, it's a weird decision, especially this early in the game, but we are back. Xylo is back from I assume letting the pizza man drop off his goods.
Yeah, I feel like it's, he put it down at 100 supply. I feel like that's very early. Typically when you see Hydras about 160, 170 supply, when you kind of have that huge roach ball and you can just begin to add in little Hydras. Hydras definitely can be like a strong addition to your army. I think you're right, they shouldn't really be like a core part of it. Maybe just a couple Hydras, like a tech unit. Kind of just alternate to the Infestor that we so often see. But here, Xylo is moving across the map with pretty sizable force, 55 roaches versus the 32 of his opponent. So I mean, that's a huge roach difference. Detner is actually going to get the good engagement here a little bit. So you're just picking off these rocks. I don't know if he knew that those would fall down, but...
Well, I think he didn't want to get trapped himself, and he was expecting Detner probably to do that. And this engagement's going to happen. I mean, +1/+1 did just finish for Detner, but that is such a massive surround, and the roach numbers... Actually, right before this happened, Detner had made 8 drones, and he had nothing.
Yeah.
He had nothing there.
Ziegler just attacking at really the perfect time. Detner was trying to drone up his third, and Ziegler was like, okay, I have about a 20 roach advantage. That's at the point where it doesn't really matter how you micro, as long as you just aim with your roaches, and he just kind of got the perfect enveloping sound and picked off his opponent 2-0.
Yep, so that's going to do it for our first series. We're going to take a short break while we get our next series set up. Hopefully Kerouac is here. I was looking at chat, and apparently he got stuck behind a train or something. On his way home, so hopefully he'll be here soon. We'll get the next series set up. It should be Kerouac versus Picker coming up shortly. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, this is Chobo Star League at TVM. With me is Kawali. We'll be back in a few minutes.
I miss the way that you smile when you look at me. No one ever made me feel so free, so free. Slow down, don't forget me now. I don't wanna fade out of your memory, your memory. Hold up, I know I have my doubts, but I want to fade
Oh, sorry, one sec.
to your memory, your memory.
You can talk. Sorry, I switched to you immediately. I wasn't able to hear you if you're saying anything. Oh shoot, I didn't mute myself. Hi guys.
Boston, lives in a world she's lost in, victim of compromise. He's staring at her Aberdeen heart, London eyes, Glasgow bones. She's a whistle in the catacombs, a paradox. He's in love with the statue in a marble block. He's in love with the girl that time forgot. She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let it taste her tears. She's falling too far. The girl that time forgot. Wasted moments, full of potential that torments. An angel in disguise, but he can see her Aberdeen heart, London eyes, Glasgow bones. She's a whistle in the catacombs, a paradox. Oh, he's in love with the statue in a marble block. He's in love with the girl that time forgot. She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let it taste her tears. She's falling too far. The girl that time forgot. That time forgot. The girl that time You let her go, catacombs. You let her go, let her go, catacombs. You let her go. She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let it taste her tears. She's falling too far. Girl, that sleeping alone, and I've been eating alone, hiding under the stairs, even though no one's home. And if you're living in the daylight, or living underground, never sending a message, there's someone's watching. Someone's watching. Hear the flock of the sirens, watch through the screen. He had your thoughts at the supermarket, never crossed the sea. With the cameras hanging on plastic rings, he always had the feeling that someone's watching. And now she's sleeping alone, and now she's eating alone, hiding under the stairs, even though no one's home. And if you're living in the daylight, or living underground, never sending a message, there's someone's watching. I don't care, someone's watching.
Alrighty, we are back for our second series of the day. It's going to be Kerouac versus Picker. Here, we're starting on Kodo. So, PBZ. Koda. I am... Despite last night beating Shook, I'm not, like, macro PBZ ever since Wings of Liberty. Like, since Wings of Liberty, I've never been able to play macro PBZ. I just can't do it
Yeah,
anymore. So...
I feel like at this point I'm pretty confident if a protest tries to do like an all-in, like if they're still staying with that Immortal Central elements. But you know, I've had a real trouble with the early expands when they're like, I have 2 sentries and like 5 cannons plus some other shit. So I'm gonna take a third base, and it just seems to work out pretty well against me. So maybe Picker has that down better than I do. So hopefully this is good games.
Right. Speaking of spawning up here in the top left in orange from Team Unrivaled, he is our Canadian Zerg player. This is Picker.
And in the bottom right hand position from Formless Gaming, in the pink, the Protoss Kerouac. A little bit interesting here to see that there's actually a pink Zerg instead of our pink Protoss instead of the traditional pink Zerg.
Traditional.
I think it was Stefano was one of the originators of the pink. I'm definitely I go to the church of the pink Zerg.
Good lord, this is an 8 pool.
Okay, yes. That's maybe that's one of the ways we were talking about how he's going to handle that macro play. Maybe how he's going to handle it is just straight up not letting it happen.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I do a lot. I mean, I did a 14-14 last night, and I did a Roachling kind of all in last night as well. And I mean 8 pool, I don't know, that's really scary against a Protoss player. I think you're working off the assumption that he's going to low ground pylon and not make a forge ever. But I mean, without a scout from Kerouac, I mean the scout's coming now, but
yeah, the scout is going to be about a quarter. Yeah, the Lings are starting in.
Oh, he's pulling drones too.
5 drones. Wow. So this is like super all in.
Well, I mean this he's not going to get his wall up.
No, it looks like actually a pretty well timed out build. Actually, these drones are going to hit this probe. So now, yeah, Kerouac immediately is like, what the heck is going on here?
Does he just wall?
Could see him. I think so. I think honestly just cancel that gas and just do a full wall with another gateway. Yeah, another gateway, and then he needs to throw down a pylon. He's definitely... Well, actually, I guess these drones are for the purpose of delaying this pylon as long as possible. And they're going to be able to do it.
Pylon down, he just wins, but...
Oh, no. If he just camps out... Yeah, he's just going to camp out here with his drones, and you can't wall. So it is going to be... He needs to chrono out a Zealot as fast as possible. There goes the chrono. So he's going to try and kill this pylon, and if he can get both these pylons and unpower these gateways, it's just obviously GG. So here comes the 4 Lings, and because of these drones, they are going to be able to run away. Kerouac is just kind of piecemeal losing probes, already 2 probes down. So his Zealot is almost done, but here's the 6 Lings and the 4 drones. drones.
I feel like he should be okay against this. I mean, he's got a
Oh.
nice... Oh, the Zealot gets completely
Yeah,
surrounded,
the
though.
Zealot
That's
does
a
get
problem.
surrounded. And then it's
Without
gonna
the
be
probe
No
support.
Zealot. Zealot's about a quarter way done. There's 2 more Lings. Lings are just flooding across the map for Picker, and he just has a ton of Lings and drones versus just the probes. I think he's done it.
Yeah.
I think there's no way Kerouac's gonna be able to do this.
Oh, well, there's 2 Zealots coming out.
But by the
He's got a
time, like,
delay,
what will
but
the damage be
yeah.
he's already taken?
He's already lost
He's
10.
down
He's
to
even, but he's not
6.
mining, so...
Oh, he's down to 6 drones, 6 probes.
There we go. He's fighting with the Zealot and the probes this time instead of just the Zealot, but he loses every probe.
He has no probes.
He can't make another probe. Yeah, so
He's
that is
totally dead.
That's gonna be it. Wow. Oh, if he
Wow.
just builds that pylon a little earlier, I don't think Kerouac actually he didn't respect that the cheese.
No, I think it was that gas, taking that gas. Because obviously that was the minerals to make the gas, and then like that could have just thrown out a pylon. And I mean, if there's a pylon, what are the drones gonna do? Just try and knock down a gateway? No, like I think like what you said, you just didn't respect it enough. I mean, in all fairness, like how often do you see
Yeah.
you know, an A pool where you pull all your drones? Like I think that's a
That's like a ZVZ build.
yeah, maybe.
He just
Maybe
made it work in a
like,
ZVP.
Yeah.
It could have been disastrous if he just gets that pylon down. I don't think that works.
Yeah,
I mean,
so it's definitely
Kerouac's
kinda-
solid. It's just I don't know. Again, I don't think Kerouac will ever lose to that again. He'll know what to do next
He's
time.
gonna have like a full like double wall.
Yeah.
So many gateways. But yeah.
It's one of those things
That
that I think it's a good idea on the first map in a best of 3 series like that, and especially if you think that you're maybe better than your opponent. Picker is in Masters. He got Masters. I was mentioning this to Kawali right before we started talking about this match, the series. He hit Masters like 3 hours after he qualified for the CSL.
Yeah. It was a good day for him.
Yeah, it was a good day for him, for sure. And Kerouac, I mean, he's going off his ladder stats. His PVZ is pretty rough. He's like 38% win ratio, so maybe not his most favorite of matchups to deal with. And he's in a group of full Zergs, so maybe that sucks for him. But I don't know. Iron Fortress is gonna be map number 2. It's a much bigger map, obviously. Maybe you won't be able to deal with an 8 pool, but you never know. You never know with these sneaky Zerg players. And spawning up here in the top right in teal from Formless Gaming, teal this time. It is our Protoss Kerouac.
And his opponent in the top left hand position, staying with the orange, team unrivaled Picker. So yeah, like you mentioned, 4 spawn map. These positions a little bit wacky. Obviously, they're quite close together. Those kind of 2 basal ones we mentioned, a little bit more effective when your travel distance is so close. Maybe Mortal End. So yeah, Kerouac is going to do a low ground pylon this time, and scout just very quickly. So he's learned a little bit from last game. He is not. If it's another crazy early pool, he's going to at least this time see it, and hope to go for a wall end. But no, looks like Picker, at least at this point, going to play a little bit more of a standard game.
Yeah, for the time being. Once we get past 14 supply without any gas, I'll say it's a standard game. I mean, if he did do something blind, like an early pool and speed, it could work out decently for him since he did get these close positions, and he's going to scout it really quickly with this Overlord. So it's nice for Picker, but he's just going to take a drone out, sneak that drone out down to the natural base, try to date his natural unmolested, which it looks like he's going to be able to do. So nice open for Picker, nice easy start, and it looks like Kerouac also going to go for a Nexus first over here, so both players focusing on a longer game this time.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it worked out pretty well for Picker that he was able to put down that hatchery unmolested by this probe. Always a good feeling. It looks like Kerouac is going to go for his own Nexus first, so just 2 incredibly economic openings, and Picker, he doesn't even put down a pool. He's going for 3 hatch 4 pool. He's like,
Why not?
It's a high, it's Nexus first. Why not? I'm totally safe here.
Yeah, I mean it's Nexus first, and it's a second pylon. There's not even a forge down to worry about.
No, there's no forge in sight. There's no risk of cannons, at least at this point.
Well, I'm curious what he's going to make a forge. He's going to make a gateway. It's going to be a forge, and this probe is still on the map, and it is scouting for the 3rd base. I mean, he saw no pylon, or he saw no pool, so he knows it's 3 base, and he's going to probably get a rush. I don't see why he wouldn't. I don't see why he wouldn't. Please go Cannon Rush. I want to see it. Huh.
I guess he's looking. I mean, at this point, the Lings are gonna be out in 40 seconds. As long as Picker is paying attention to his bases, not really. Yeah, the Overlord is actually gonna even go over to the third, so not really too much potential for Cannon Rush here. And Picker's actually going for an early gas. Assume that's just to get an earlier speed for that map control.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about this decision. When you get that kind of 3-hatch 4 pool opening, I like to just power my drones, get up to like that like 46 supply, then throw down 2 or 3 gases. Just like the super standard play that's been basically just the standard since like pretty early Wings of Liberty. But now Picker is instead choosing to go for gas, putting three drones in that gas.
Yeah.
I guess he does have enough money to start the 3 queens, but not really enough for too much else besides that. And he is a little supply locked, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, he's got 5 larvae sitting around right now that he can't make anything out of. With this gas, if that's not gas, what is that? An extra 120 minerals at this point. He could be making some more drones right now. So he's not even starting speed just yet, and he's still in gas actually. So I'm curious what he's going to do exactly with this amount of gas. I mean, speed made sense, but
yeah, I think it's going to be he's going to throw on Evo Chamber, and get speed plus like upgraded Lings early, and then maybe go into like a Hydra Ling push or like a Roach Hydra push. But yeah, he has 180 gas at this point, and more than enough minerals for really anything that would need that gas, you know, if it's lair or if it's speed. So not really sure what he's choosing to do here. Okay, this is actually going to be lair.
Is he going to throw down more gases and maybe go for mutas even? Like,
possibly. It's a bit of an interesting decision because, like you mentioned, he had the gas for lair about 30 seconds ago, so it's not the fastest possible that you can get. But yeah, there goes. Okay, so he's going all his gases.
wow. Yep.
He's going for 6 gases.
I don't know what else this would be besides some mutas.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to have a lot of gas. I mean, he still could just go Ling Hydra, which could work out pretty nicely. And, well, I mean, there's a Robo on the way right now for Kerouac, and he's got a +1 attack coming out really quickly as well. So, I don't know, he could try and hit before mutas are a thing, and especially since he is going for this Robo, he's not like, if he opened Blink, that would be amazing for him.
Yeah, just totally shut it down.
But
No,
he's
so
not
the
just yet.
lair is almost done. Obviously, like a super fast lair. I think it seems like you're probably right that it's gonna be that Muta. Sitting at 300 right now. More than enough gas. Oh no, actually, okay, double Evo Chambers. And canceling them. Okay, so Picker, it looks like one of the reasons we're having trouble with this build is he's a little undecided himself. So there goes the Spire. And it's going to be Warp Prism for Kerouac. You know, obviously that Robo positioned in the back of his base. Pretty conducive to Warp Prism. Just trying to make it as hard to scout as possible. And that Warp Prism could be a good choice. Because for Picker, since he's invested so much into these gases, into those mutas, doesn't really have the units on the ground to deal with any sort of aggression.
Yeah. I kind of like that Picker is getting pneumatized carapace as well. This is a very large map, and having the speed of the Overlords, be able to zoom around, and you could sit and spread creep at these third base locations over and over and over. I know TLL used to like to do that. He would lose one Overlord, and he'd come back with another Overlord and start spreading more creep. Just continually being annoying like that. And especially since he's going to have mutas out, it's already going to be so hard for Kerouac to take a third base. If he even wants to take a third base, I mean, that's a lot of gateways.
I don't think so, yeah. I think we're seeing the kind of that Immortal Central, and I mentioned it, but it's so good on this map, especially in these positions. You know, you walk out of your ramp, you know, maybe a couple of Lings out there, just force field, walk a little bit more, and then there you are, like right between the third and the natural of your opponent. But it is going to be 13 mutas initially for Picker.
Do you just base trade?
No, I feel like... Well, the mutas are definitely... If he tries to drop these Warp Prism, and there's mutas on the map, that's going to be just... basically GG at that point. If he loses the Warp Prism with 2 Immortals inside it. So it looks like he actually he's just going to move about on the ground, like I mentioned, with those short travel distances.
He's warping in mostly Zealots even.
Yeah, I feel like you use the mutas, you snipe the Warp Prism to ruin reinforcements, and you just got a good surround with the Lings. I feel like Picker right now is in just a great spot. 5 more mutas on the way. He's going to have 18 mutas.
He still hasn't seen this. Like, Kerouac has no idea. He sees the links
Oh,
there,
there
the
we
mutas
go.
now, and this is the oh shit
Yeah,
moment.
he just immediately focuses the Warp Prism,
Oh,
and
recall.
Kerouac is with 1 Stalker, 4 Sentries, 2 Immortals,
Oh.
none of these units shoot up. Yeah, this is basically just game-ending damage here. He's gonna lose everything. GG. Kerouac goes down. Not a great showing for our Protoss player, unfortunately. But Picker, the newly promoted Masters Zerg, able to take the day with 348 APM. Picker is he's a young lad, just turned 15. He has those nimble figures, able to be a speed demon here with his APM. Wow. That was impressive play. I'm curious at which point he knew he was going to go for Muta. Because as we saw, he did throw down those 2 Evo Chambers, then just immediately cancel them.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah.
That's weird. But Kerouac. Picker will move on into... wow, I'm screwing everything up today. Picker's going to move on to play Zelo in our winners match. So Team Unrival's going to get 80... Or no. Wow. That's in the past. Zelo's on Azusa now. So never mind what I was getting ready to say, but it is going to be a ZVZ mirror match. It's going to be our next series coming up shortly. Once again, do please stick around. This is the Trouble Star League. I am TB Ham. With me is KO Wally, and thanks for watching. We'll be back in a few minutes with our next series. Alrighty, we are back once again for our third series of the day. It's gonna be yet another ZVZ, Zelo, and wow, Picker. I just forget things 5 seconds after I see them because I don't know, early onset Alzheimer's. I really don't know.
It's not good.
Not good at all. But who cares?
Coda?
We are in our first map on Coda, as you said. Spawning up here in the top left, our hilarious former admin, Dutch yellow Zerg player from Team Azusa. It is Zelo.
And in the bottom right-hand position, from Team Unrivaled, it is Picker, winner of the last series.
So whoever wins this series will move on and advance into the round of 16 for the CSL. I think both of these guys are some of the, I think there were like 5 people in the current CSL who have ever played in the CSL before, and these two are 2 of them. I don't remember if either of them advanced anywhere. Zeno may have, simply because we had those EU groups in the first season. No offense. Actually, I can't remember who did. I want to say probably it would have been Stark and 1 HP advanced, and Roxas. Who would have been the 4th European? Was it you?
No, I did not. Lost in the round of 32 to
Okay.
2 seasons in a row. Thanks for. No, I think I remember I lost to Stark in 1 HP in season 1. I think it actually might have been Zulu and Roxas and the other group advancing in season 1.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I know it was a lot of Zerg. It was a whole lot of Zerg in that. I'm gonna figure this out eventually. Thanks for the handy dandy links on the CTL homepage. We do have, was it a 13? Was it 13, 13, 13, 12 pick? I think 13, 12.
Oh, it was BCX that advanced. Ziegler got third
okay.
in this group in season 1.
That's who I always forget. I always forget BCX.
the British Aaron Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Picker is they go for the gas and then pull. Like he's just gonna expand here, so not gonna be anything too balls to the wall aggressive, but did quite a fast gas. As you can see, he has, gonna have 50 gas before Zulu even starts to mine his own gas at all, but at the cost of that economic play.
It will open up, a little bit of time where Picker could flood lanes if he wants to. We saw that from Zelo. He did flood lanes in his first game, but I think on a 2-player map, Zelo likes to play a little bit safer and a little bit more macro-oriented, and just try to defend and then win from there. I think when he was vetoing, he was talking about getting 2-player maps out of there. So it kind of makes sense because maybe he does like to cheese a little bit more. Which actually, it's kind of funny because we have nothing but 2-player maps for this series. Now that I look at it. So I don't know. Let's see, but we do have a Bathing Nest already from Zelo. So this is the same thing he did on Terraform versus Detner. Went for the pool or the expansion and pool, and then some gas for a Bathing Nest before he made speed. So he's going to have to defend with a little bit of a few banelings if he's able to. But I mean, speed's still pretty far away from Picker, and it's still a good 20 seconds away. It's not like he's making a ton of lings, but once this inject pops, if that's nothing but lings as well, that should be pretty telling. Yeah, it is. So that's a lot of lings on the way. Alright, no real defense here from Zelo either. He's got a queen and a 1 baneling morphing against a lot of lings that are coming in right now.
Yeah, this is not a good spot for. I mean, I guess he has the queen. He's gonna have 2 queens. He's gonna have a full lock on the ramp.
If
He puts him into position.
He needs to put him in position.
Yeah.
Speed's finishing up in 4 seconds too. He needs to get those queens in position. He's seen this coming. He's got overlords.
Stop. Run it back.
This is what I do all the time. This is how I lose ZVZ. I don't put queens on the ramp and then I just lose. He's got banelings. He's got 2 banelings, so that's a thing.
But 19 lings. Oh, put yourself in the ramp, man.
Oh, that was so close to being so dangerous.
Great banning hits for Zulu. Just really great hits. Oh, attacking the plates. No, that's not what you want to do, man.
It could have killed probably a couple more lings there, but it's still, that was the defense. I mean, putting the Baneling on top of the ramp was a really smart move from Zulu. He basically defended because of that. Otherwise, he probably loses a lot more in that trade. But at the moment, again, this is the same thing we saw versus Detner. He defends early, and then he makes a lot of his own Lings and walks across the map with some Banes and Lings and tries to do some damage.
Yeah, that's always the risk when you go for any sort of early aggressive play, and you don't just straight up kill your opponent. Defending the counterattack, and as we can see, Picker was using the opportunity to drone. He has an 11 drone lead, but what's the point of having drones when you just straight up die through a Ling Bane counterattack? His Vending Nest is about to finish, but it's definitely not going to be done in time to hold this this initial flood of Lings.
It's so many Lings, too.
Moving across the map, yeah.
Even just the Lings alone is 29 to 9 Lings right now, and then with the Banes are rolling in. Thankfully for Picker, he does have the Queens at the ramp, so he's going to be able to deal with that.
But he's going to take heavy losses at this natural. Oh, if he just needs. Oh, the Baneling actually is just going to explode on the Queen. Yeah, but Ziggler will actually be able to pick these drones off. 13 drones go down. Picker, oddly enough, still with the drone lead, but yeah, he's going to lose his hatch. He is in not a great position. I feel like, again, just as you saw with Detner, it's Zerg's droning at the wrong times.
Yeah.
When you do that, when you do like that kind of early aggression and really get no damage done, you can't just like go into like, okay, this is like a standard game, I'm just gonna make a bunch of drones. Like, you really have to play like quite defensively on your own. And as you can see, it really costs Picker. He's down in basically every conceivable measure. He's down in drones, he's down a hatch, he's down an army, he's down queens. Really, just this is not looking great for our unrivaled Zerg player here.
Yeah, Zila does need to morph in some more Banes. He's got 2, 3, 4 on the way now. But the counter is over here for Picker, but I think still he's down numbers. The Lings are even.
Yeah, but a huge Baneling morph. It's going to be 5 Banes to what will eventually become 4 Banes Ziggler. But he's waiting and allowing these spines to finish. Yeah. So as long as Ziggler properly targets fires, and there we go, picking off so many Banes. Already, all the Banes are down except for 3 Banes are left for Picker here. And he's gonna get huge hits on all the Lings. Ziggler not really watching his Lings there.
I feel like Zila disconnected for a couple seconds there. He didn't transfuse. There we go.
There you go. Okay, there.
Finally transfused something, but wow, that was scary. He could have defended that a lot easier. And I don't know. I hope it's not the whole EU to NA thing that's bothering him right now, because that was being generous. That was poor. He lost pretty much everything, and he could have lost almost nothing. Had he just transfused those spine crawlers would have been alive, been able to pick off some more Banes. Then he left all of his lanes kind of sitting around, not doing anything. Those got killed off.
I mean, it's obviously like an incredibly stressful situation.
Yeah.
Anytime that you like are faced with like Ling Bane aggression, when it's not like the 1 or 2 Banes and a couple Lings, that was like a huge amount of Banes, huge amount of Lings. And I think all things considered, he did pretty well. And as you can see from just the supply,
Roaches.
Pretty well for Ziggler.
Roaches are a pretty good unit, especially at this stage of the game when your opponent's Roach Warren is just now finishing up. He's got a lot of larvae available, does Picker. He's making his own Roaches now, but there's a lot of Lings here as well for Zila. It looks like, there we go, pause coming in from him.
Another pause.
Eventually, there we go.
Well, last time he took a pause and then immediately won the game. So we're going to have to see if history repeats itself. Windows bar showing up.
That's should probably not have that happen.
Yeah, it feels like that's a problem. Okay, so it looks like Ziggler don't know exactly what he did, but he did something.
He did something, and something happened, and now he's back, so it's all right.
Yep.
I don't know. Does Zila, does he move across the map now? I mean, the army count's kind of evening up right now. I mean, it's 11 Roaches to going to be 6, I think.
I feel like, he's definitely going to move across the map. Maybe I think we're gonna see just a huge Baneling morph and then just go for the kill here. But I'm not sure how it'll work. Like, there's already 2 spines. Picker, he knows what's going on. He has his Lings, he has his Banes, he has his own Roaches and the 2 spines. Ziggler does have a bigger army, but with the reinforcement advantage on Picker's side and the 2 spines, I'm not sure he's gonna be able to get it done here.
Yes, with these 2 spines, you can't say enough about them. I mean, Roaches deal damage so slowly. And with the rest of the army here for Picker, I mean, the Bane's rolling
good
in.
Good Baneling hits. Yeah, good Baneling hits on all the Lings.
The spine crawlers are still completely untouched.
Even number of Roaches versus Roaches and the spines of Picker.
Yeah, so it's definitely well held by Picker, and this is he's going to push us back, and now Picker's got a lead. He's got a drone lead. He's up 5 drones right now, and he's in a decent position once again. Zelo kind of bleeding off a couple roaches here and there to some miss rallies, but I guess Picker's going to walk across the map again, and there's not any spine colors on this side of the map for Zelo. I mean, he's got a couple queens with a ton of energy, so he's got a lot of transfuses available, which is nice. He's making the Evo chamber. He's starting to take another gas, so he can start actually getting an economy, and he's actually got a drone, or he's still making army units because he realized what's coming across the map at him right now.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult to hold for sure. He does have these 2 queens. Queens, pretty decent fighters actually, especially with the transfuse. But yeah, Picker, he's sitting at a roach lead, 13 roaches to 10. Ling lead. It's going to come these banelings. Like, can the roaches of Picker pick these off, or will the roaches of Ziglu take off Picker's banelings? And it looks like better hits. Yeah, Ziglu not using his banes. Use your banes, man. 3 banes in the back. Needs to transfuse like a madman. And it's looking like, yeah, with the Banes, with the transfuses, with his own roaches, and reinforcing lings, he's going to be able to hold it off. So we're just kind of seeing like the 2 armies crashing against each other. And the player with defending advantage is able to hold on in both these instances.
Ooh, that's 8 drones on the way, and we saw a lot more roaches get made by Picker here. And one of these queens has full energy, and he's not transfusing. It's really bothering me. It really needs
all these roaches are quite low. And it really just makes a huge difference. You can see Picker is picking off the weak roaches. Target's quite well. 1 transfuse does go down. Going to be enough to force these roaches and things back. But yeah, on Picker's side of the map, he is going for Lair. And droning a little bit, looking like he's going to take a 3rd as well. So this is by no means all in. He's putting his eggs in multiple baskets here. Ziglu, on the other hand, he is getting +1, but Lair is nowhere to be seen. He really doesn't have much gas at all.
Yeah, he's got a ton of minerals, but he can't actually make gas units, which is what he wants right now. He's actually still even making banelings, which I don't know about that. I mean, there's a lot of banes here for Picker, but if he's just got roaches instead of these banes, then I don't know. Maybe he soaks that damage a little bit better, but maybe he can get a really nice trade on all of the banes. But it looks like he's going to back off for now. Probably realizing that he doesn't really need to attack in this right now. He's just going to go home, continue droning up. I mean, he's got 42 drones to 33 in his favor at the moment. He does need to start upgrading. He's actually getting the Carapace upgrade. So is he going to switch in? Okay, never mind. I was going to say he's going to switch into Lings, but
Yeah,
there goes the ranged as well. 22 Lings on the way though, so I don't. Is he just going to use those to deny a 3rd, or is he actually going to add those to his army? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Picker right now he definitely has a pretty heavy advantage. With his speed's going to be done before the lair of Ziglu is started. That's just a huge mobility advantage. You know, you can get those roaches exactly where they need to be, get them in good spots, and his 3rd is done. So Ziglu is really, the onus is on him here. He does have the +1 upgrade, but before long with the Weaver Chambers, Picker is going to be able to catch up, and Picker is definitely going to deny these space. There's no way that Ziglu can save this. Yeah, there goes the cancel. So yeah, it's kind of on Ziglu right now. He does have the roach advantage. He's sitting at 19 to 13 roaches, but in everything else, Picker is quite far ahead.
I don't know. It's almost to a point where Zelo, like before he takes his 3rd base, he has to push out. Yeah. He's got to get on the map and do something, because right now he there's no way he can take this 3rd base with all of these speedlings out on the map. He can't leave that 3rd with his army. And even leaving his natural is kind of frightening, but if he gets on top of this army before it actually gets into a position that's decent for him, he should be okay, but armies running into each other here. Banes are going to crash onto what few lings there were, and now there's nothing but roaches left for Zelo.
They're just without speed. It's so hard to engage a force. It's just faster than you and stronger than you.
Yeah, that upgrade advantage is going to be gone here in about 10 seconds.
He needs to attack. If he's going to attack, he needs to attack right now before the upgrade's finished.
Well, he bled off all the banelings, so that's nice. So he still has this upgrade advantage. I mean, Carapace is finishing, and Missile Attacks is going to finish here just a second for Picker, and Picker is wisely backing off, and realizing he can get a positional advantage with his speed finished. He is still adding a lot of lings into his army, which is kind of, I don't know, maybe a waste of larva at this point. He could make those drones or even more roaches, but engagement is happening here, and kind of an awkward position for Picker, but he's going to make it happen. He's going to get surround on all of Zelo's army, and Despite the slightly earlier upgrade and slightly earlier Roach Warren, I mean, this early game was all Zilo's favor, but
Yeah.
Picker is just rolling over Zilo right now. And then we go GG out of our Zilo Zerg player.
I feel like Picker was just able to sit it, like, sink in those drones and get them out of the way, like, so much quicker than Ziggler was. Ziggler is he's always kind of on the defensive there. Like, he seems so worried of, like, counterattacks and that counterplay. And then Picker was just like, you know what, I'm just going to make 10 drones. I'm just going to step back, get my forces up, get a lair, and really just having that earlier speed just allows him to get, like, in a good position like we saw him in. And just kind of crush his opponent.
Yeah. It was, I don't know, it's once again, we kind of saw this with Detner's game as well. It's just Zilo's on the other end of it this time. Kale Wally, please. He was on the other end of this time. He was in a position where he could have won, but managed to kind of attack poorly.
Yeah.
He just lost too much, and he wasn't able to come back from it. And
Yeah,
some
I
weird
feel like,
engagements.
even if that attack had gone well, you know, he's still on 2 bases. He's really no way to replenish an army. And then Picker was just able to flood roaches from his 3 base. When you're on 3 bases, roaches are very cheap. You know, you can, like, easily max on that. I don't know. We're gonna have to see if Ziku can pull off some magic in this second game, and it is gonna be Dash and Terminal.
Yeah.
I'd call it an odd map. I think I would be very justified in saying that.
Yeah. I don't necessarily, like, from a balance standpoint, I don't necessarily mind the map. It's just so awkward, and I have it vetoed in every matchup. I don't really care, even if it's a mirror matchup. I don't want to play on it. It's just, I'm not comfortable on the map, and it's weird. It's just very strange.
I like it. To be honest with you, I think it's kind of a cool map. Just like, I mean, it's so weird for Zerg because you know your Overlord can scout like basically everything just right off the map. So it does help if you're a Zerg that likes to play.
Oops.
Always check those races.
Yeah. You figured you could leave something up to the players, and then it just goes downhill from there. Zila did it to select Terran because he wants to lose with a different race this time. Things that happen whenever, because since we zone in or we get into the lobby as the players, the races get all funky.
Yeah, exactly.
We are restarting this lobby, and hopefully Zila will look at his race this time. See, they're both Terran. There we go. Both players are Zerg. We are going to go back into Dash and Terminal. So proud, Zalo. So proud. you managed to do it, buddy. No problem. I think someone did that the first night too. We were loaded into a game as the wrong race. I almost did it last night, actually. I was moving things so quickly along that I think I started off as Terran and fixed it in the middle of the countdown. Like, well, been okay. I can totally play a TVT. My worst matchup ever. Let's go right back into that. But we are back into our game, into our map on Dash and Terminal here. Spawning in the top side of this, I guess the 12 o'clock position. In yellow, our Zerg player from Team Azusa. He's down 1-0 in this series. It is Zulu.
Yes. And in, I guess, kind of the middle right position, we have from Team UR Picker. Yeah, this is, as you mentioned, Dash and Terminal, weird map. Both these players, they're going to have overlords that will just basically immediately scout what each one is doing. And then from there, it's going to be to see who can kind of react the best. Who can use that basically just perfect information and see what's going on.
Yeah, so despite this, Picker's going to Tim Pool.
Yeah, he's a bally guy. He's a ballsy player. Yeah, so he's going to 10 pool. Ziegler will scout this, but it might be just in time that Ziegler will have thrown down his own 15 hatch.
Thing is, like, his first Overlord isn't going to the main base. I mean, yeah, it's going to get there in a decent amount of time, but he's looking for a hatch first. He's not looking for a pool and gas. I mean, I don't well, I guess it's fine. You can scout both things pretty easily, can't you? Sending the Overlord down to this. He sent it to the ramp first, then he's going to send it back up, and he goes look for gas, look for the pool, which, I mean, they're going to be done. He's already mining gas, and he's only got 2 on gas, so his speed's going to be a little bit late, unless he's just going for banelings, but I don't know why he would do that.
Yeah, not really sure. I feel like that's probably a little bit of an error here, but he does have the 6 lings, and Ziegler did around his own early pool, so they both do a little bit of an ordinary play. Picker does scout that this is about 30 seconds delayed hatchery, so he knows it's going to be a little bit of an earlier pool. Gonna be interesting to see how Ziegler is going to be able to hold this. He still has 2 drones in each gas, so this speed, which I guess it's definitely going to be speed at this point, is going to be much later than normal.
I wonder if he realizes that. I mean, obviously he sees it now, but I don't know. It's kind of working out with the minerals pretty well. But it's just gonna be a little late speed. But I guess Queen's gonna finish up these first lings that are out. Which he got a little bit more because he only had those 2 gases, I suppose, or 2 in gas, I suppose. They're gonna be able to probably cancel this natural base. Zelo could defend this. He's got a Queen on the way, just about to pop out if he wants to bring that down to help defend or not. But he really, really wants to keep this alive for sure, but I mean, he sees that his opponent doesn't have a natural yet, so he can't be too frightened that he's going to lose a macro game from this, but he's going to go ahead and defend this natural, it seems. I mean, Picker is trying to rally in lings as he's able, but, well, this is a rough hold for Zelo. Is he going to cancel it?
I'm a bit confused here.
God.
It looks like he's going to try and defend it, and speed for Picker is still 50 seconds away. So Ziegler, he has the gas at his own speed. He had the gas at his own speed about 20 seconds ago, and chose not to do that. I think he's just microing so hard trying to make sure this hatchery doesn't die. Because if this hatchery dies after he's invested so much into defending it, he's in a world of pain. And he's down to just 2 lings, and the hatchery's at 100 health, and it's gonna go down. Picker's ling's able to kill it, and he's gonna have speed, but you know his ling numbers are quite small. He's sitting at 7 lings, no more on the way. Versus the 20 of Ziegler. If Ziegler had just remembered to start speed, earlier when he had the gas, it would have been just so beneficial to him. Right now, his speed would have been like about halfway done, and he would have had huge link numbers, just do an enormous counterattack. And again, we can see Picker is following his same trend of doing an early pool, doing damage, and just immediately taking a faster expansion and trying to hold on to the inevitable counterattack.
And what we have in production, we still have just nothing but lings in production for both players at the moment. Even a spine collar coming out for Picker, realizing that he's going to have to defend somehow. And the ling numbers are in favor of Zeta right now, and he's going to strike for the hat. He's going to get a cancel on that, which is nice, and try to bleed off some of his lings. Yeah,
23 lings versus 11 of Picker. Picker does have 12 more on the way. The Baneling gas is done for Ziegler. Would definitely like to see him morph some Banelings. Then just kind of go for it. His speed's about to finish up. There goes the 6 Baneling morphs, and speed's about to finish up. This will be very difficult for Picker to hold, as his own Baneling has just finished. He has no lings on the way. But it looks like he's engaged a little bit too early. He engaged right before those Banelings are finished. Oh, this will be...
Oh, he's going to go across. He's going to go for a base trade.
Going for a base trade. It's going to all come down to what Ziegler can do with these 6 Banes.
Yeah, he's got nothing but Banes
and
a spine.
Yeah.
Wow, this should go pretty well for
good splits
Picker.
for Picker. Just kind of minimizing the amount of damage that these Banes can do. Only 4 lings for 4 Banes at the moment. And here comes a massive amount of lings. Now, the lings for Ziegler do pop out, but it's just... the numbers for Picker are just so much higher, and he's going to take enormous economic damages. At the same time, the counterattack for Ziegler was cleaned up. Only 8 drones gone down.
I kind of wish Zila would have taken some of those links that had popped out earlier and just tried to hide them, make a few Banes, and then come back in with that. As it stands, he's going to lose everything. He's going to call GG there. So Picker...
It was a great decision by Picker. Yeah. Really impressive decision making there. Just be like, okay, you know what? He can do what he wants with the Banes. I'll just split to the best of my ability. I'll take some damage, but at the same time, I'll just go straight up kill him. And that's basically exactly what happened. As Picker was able to take the Series 2-0, advancing in very convincing fashion. I don't feel like any of the games really looked particularly close. Picker always seemed in quite a bit of control. He just seemed like he knew what was going on. He had his build set. Obviously, he'd been practicing quite hard. He's on my team, so I've been seeing him putting in the work, preparing his builds, preparing for the CSL. He wants to win, and this is advancing in first place 4-0 in your group definitely a good first step on that road to victory.
Yeah, for sure. So we are going to take a short break while we get our losers match set up. It's going to be Detner and Kerouac coming up. It's going to be another PVZ. We'll be back in a few minutes once again to the Trouble Star League. I am TPM with me, Kawali. Do stick around. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Alrighty, we are back for, well, an elimination match here, and I have chat open, so people are seeing things I don't want them to be seeing right now on Skype. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Anyway, we're back for an elimination match. Our next series is going to be Detner and Kerouac. The PvZ starting up on Cactus Valley, and of course, right as we started this match, one of my roommate's beagles came to my room. It is 3:30, which means it is time for something they like to ingest. So he might start howling because
Just a little added.
if you don't feed these guys right on time, they get real antsy. It's hilarious. I love it. Anyway, into StarCraft, starting in the top right here. From this Gaming, our pink Protoss player. This is Kerouac.
And his opponent in the top left-hand position from Team All Inspiration, the orange Derek Detner. So interesting enough, Kerouac, he's like, you know what, that teal, that did not work out well. I'm going back to pink. So we're going to see if that gives him a little bit of better luck here. And not only is he going back to pink, he's going back to his low ground pylon. Again, this is a 4-player map. It seems like these players seem to like the 4-player maps. I really don't at all. I find them just really, especially this map, it's so far. It just, like, attacking is just like, by the time you actually get there, your opponent, you know, he's He scouted it, he countered it, he like made a cup of coffee, he's like ready. So a little bit of a weird map, I would definitely say.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kerouac, he did show a little bit of trouble scouting past the opening minutes of the game in his second game against Picker when on Iron Fortress, when Picker just went 3 hatch and then quick lair into a Spire that just was completely not scouted by Kerouac. He got caught out in the middle of the map with just units that didn't shoot up, which is a problem. But this game, that's a really quick forge, but we do have a pool first for detonators, so don't know how well.
Yeah, this map, you know, this whole cannon rush thing where you just wall the Zerg off completely is definitely popular. So I would assume that detonator, yeah, he's definitely aware this is a thing. He's pulling 2 drones. He's gonna be able to put his hatch down. It's about the timing I would say you want if you go pool first. So yeah, both players, you know, not the most economic openings for them, but it's not nothing too crazy. It's not going to be like slowing the entire game down or anything like that. Just a little unfortunate.
Nexus is down at a pretty decent time here for Kerouac. I mean, the forge is there. It's not like you never use a forge as a Protoss player, so it will be useful eventually. And he's even getting a cannon. It was a pool first from Detonator, so I mean, early links could come across the map, but it kind of that is one heck of a wall. I'm not really sure how that's going to work
get
out.
This gas, Detonator did go for an early gas. I thought at first it was for an extractor trick because he didn't have enough supply to build the queen, but it's looking like he's actually going to keep that and put 2 and 3 in the gas guys. Okay, so he's going to go for super early gas. I don't know. Okay, well, first of all, this wall is a little. Is this? Yeah, it's a little weird. Is the wall? Can you attack the?
Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah.
Well, you could attack probably the gateway and the pylon without getting touched by this cannon.
Yeah, so a little
with
bit
roaches
little
at
bit
least. I don't know, maybe not lings, but even from like the low ground, he may be able to attack this gateway, which is that's gonna be weird.
Not a Protoss wall expert, but I feel like this looks a little suspect.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird map to wall off on because the way these rocks are set up, sometimes it doesn't look like it's a wall, but it is.
Yeah.
And it just looks so awkward. So it can be really annoying to wall on this because just the way the hexes work out on this map, it's just really strange. But speed on the way for Detonator, and he's still in gas. Curious if we're going to see a Roach Warren coming up pretty soon. I feel like it's going to happen.
Yeah, still 3 in the gas.
Yep.
No, yeah, you're right. It's going to be Roach, some really early Roach link pressure. And with this messed up, messed up maybe a little harsh. With this unusual wall, that'll definitely be.
Yeah, with roaches, I mean, roaches can take out the gate, they can take out the forge, they can take out a pylon without getting touched by the cannon. Which that sucks because you need the wall against this. Because once the roaches take down any sort of like the actual wall off portion, lings just flood on past, and then go into the main base, start taking out probes. Take out everything you have, and this cyber core is, I mean, it just finished. It means a mothership core can just start now, and I mean, Carrick doesn't really have the gas for it because he is getting +1. He's getting the warp gate as well, so I mean, mothership core can only start here in a couple of seconds if he wanted to, but he does start on 2 more gates, so he will have a couple extra gateways to defend against this pressure. But with warp gates so far away, I mean, there's 7 roaches already being produced right now by Detonator.
Yeah, just like his games versus Picker, we're seeing that Carrick likes to go for that a little bit of an early, a little bit of a later cyber core, and like you were mentioning, that delays not only the mothership core but also the photon overcharge. Like, this mothership core isn't even started. There's no potential of having. I mean, that'll be popping out when the roaches are about, you know, attacking his wall, and then from there, it's so far to having a photon overcharge. You need that 100 energy.
Oh, this is such bad luck right now for Carabot too.
Yeah.
He's scouting with a probe, but by scouting to see that there's no third, he's gonna miss the army moving across the map.
And he's even supply blocked as well. So you just really can't really do anything right now.
He
has a zealot and a sentry and a cannon.
Oh,
and like you mentioned, this gateway can't even do anything. Yeah, and he's just taking a third. I assume he's spending a lot of money.
Yeah, he was going to. He has a probe over here, but his probe got killed off by some lings. I think that was the cue of, oh crap, things are coming. He's got a sentry.
He's just gonna snipe this, forcing the force field out. That's the one force field. He has no force fields out. He has a sentry about 3/4 done, but will that gateway even survive? Like you mentioned, the Roach is able to attack without the cannon shooting him. Oh, it's just, okay, barely gets out in time. But the gateway goes down, and this wall, all that's left is really nothing. A zealot and a sentry. Another cannon about halfway done, but that's not, there's no way this is going to be able to defend these Roaches. Oh, this is a terrible position for Kerouac.
Yeah.
Mothership 4 nowhere in sight, and GG, Detner takes it just off the back of Roaches and Lings.
Yep.
Super old school, aggressive play.
Hey, it works. If it works, it works. And yeah, that worked pretty well against Kerouac. That was just, again, it's a confluence of bad events happening all at the same time for the Protest player. I mean, he was scouting. He was like, I need to go check if he has a third base. He's like, I'm gonna do that. I'm
And
putting
then
out a pylon.
as soon as he scouted,
Yeah.
it's like instantly the Lings and Roaches are battering down his front door.
How does this happen? This is awful. Kind of a mistiming by Kerouac there, but he's not out of it just yet. He is down one game here. We are going to game number 2, which is going to be on Coda.
Okay.
So probably a little bit easier of a
So,
map to actually scout
Yeah, a
on.
little bit more of a standard map. Pretty much the most standard map in the map pool. Gonna see how that works out for him. I don't know. I feel like you were mentioning that his Zerg play, or his play versus Zerg hasn't been the best statistically. Not really sure.
It could be just one of those middle block
Yeah.
things where, I mean, I'm not necessarily terrible at ZVZ, but I know it's rough for me, so I lose a lot of ZVZs just because I'm so flustered going into the game. Before the game even starts, I'm bothered by it. It could be one of those things for Kerouac where he struggles against Zerg, and so he thinks, I'm not going to win this game no matter what, and so he has it in his mindset, and it screws them, and he makes some slight mistakes over and over and over, and those things just kind of add up eventually. But we'll see how he goes here in game number 2. We are in our map Coda, spawning in the bottom right here in orange from All Inspiration. This is Detner.
And in the top left-hand position, staying with the pink for this game, from Team Formless, Kerouac, Protoss player. So we are gonna see if Kerouac is able to summon these last reserves of Protoss energy, Protossness, and just really make it I guess I don't know, closer match than
Yeah.
than we previously have. I mean, it's kind of hard to blame him for that last game. That was just such an unusual build. Like that brought me back to like the Wings of Liberty beta days, where the Zerg's like, taking a third base. How am I supposed to do that? I'll just make some roaches, make some lings, and just kill. And it really just worked out. Yeah.
It's it's been really popular for a while, especially at kind of this level of play where you can get away with that, where maybe your opponent doesn't scout too much, maybe has a little bit of trouble scouting. And speaking of scouting, Detner, it looks like he's afraid of a 2-gate. He's scouting for this. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. I mean, just checking all around, it's not going to be the case. Kerouac is putting the gateway in his main base, so no problems there. But still a pull first here out of Detner. I'm curious, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is he going to do the same thing? Will he just try to do the same thing? This isn't a terrible map for it. It's a really wide natural ramp, so he can get up there with a pretty good surface area with roaches and lings if he wanted to do that.
Yeah, and so it's gonna be again the pool before the hatch for Detner. So he's not really taking any chances with like an early counter rush or anything like that. Just playing super safe. I'm gonna see. So Kerouac again choosing to go for the gateway play. That game versus Picker on this map, he did go for gateway as well, but obviously that was the crazy April game with the drone pull. So we really didn't get to see how exactly he uses like that gateway expand. So this will definitely be like a kind of fresh territory for Kerouac here.
Yeah, once again an early gas for Detner. So I mean, he's gonna have that opportunity again, and Kerouac sees this, and hopefully he probably realizes, hey, this is what Detner did last game. He got an early gas, and then there were a lot of units in my base at a really early timing. So what can I do to prepare for that? And how do I make this game go a little bit better for me? I have to wait and see. And the Nexus is coming down, so just a really simple gate expand out of Kerouac. Put himself in a nice position to do pretty much of anything. Kind of up to Detner, what kind of tech is he going to go for, and is Kerouac going to do anything interesting tech-related?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here. There's the Mothership Board, so a little bit faster than the last game. He didn't really have it at all. So it's going to be 2 gases. So just kind of, I mean, pretty standard off a gateway expand. Not looking like we're going to see any sort of super early like full gate pressure like you sometimes see or anything like that.
Probe finally going down here in the main base. That probe was scouting for a long time. He really doesn't want to miss anything. He wants to see if there's a Roach going down. But, I mean, Detonator's, he's got the gas for speed. He's not starting it just yet. Probably a little bit focused on other things at the moment, making sure he's injecting both of his hatcheries. But speed is really important for any sort of build like this, especially if he's going gas for this early. But there's a second gas coming down. Is it just to cancel? I'm not sure what's going on. It's a really early second gas, considering he's got 200 gas already.
I don't know. We saw last game he used that gas for roaches. Maybe he was like, oh, Picker, making those meters look pretty good. So yeah, he's definitely not going to cancel. And there goes the lair.
Yeah.
So it might be, yeah, okay, 4 gases are going down, all his gases. So yeah, it's looking like it is definitely going to be super fast Muta, or at least super fast tech of some sort. And Karak, he's throws down a Stargate, which is basically the perfect counter to 2-base Muta.
Problem is, what's Kerouac going to make out of this Stargate? He's going to go Oracle Void Ray? Is he going to go Phoenix immediately? 'Cause if he goes Oracle Void Ray, something like that, maybe thinking that he needs to defend, or maybe just goes double Void Ray even, that he needs to defend against roaches. Yeah, be caught off guard by a bunch of mutas popping out, but the Stargate should afford him a lot of scouting ability, so should be okay against what Ender's going to throw out at him, which I assume is going to be that Spire. I mean, Lair finished up here in about 6 seconds.
Oh, if he made like Burrow Infester Rush, I would be so happy or something like that. But I definitely think it's going to be... Oh, it is Oracle, okay. So this is what you're talking about. It is going to be Spire. Now the Oracle definitely should be able to scout this. The Spire is just, he just put it at the back of his main. So when the Oracle flies into Nom Nom on those drones, it's definitely going to be able to scout that Spire. So it's gonna be up to Karak at that point to see what he can do to defend. But I mean, when you go, remember this is like a 2-base Muta. This isn't like the 3-base style that we saw Picker go for. So his Muta count, like right now we can see he's at 600 gas. So maybe 8 or 9 Mutas, possibly 10 at the most by the time we see it. And if he just count out like 2 or 3 Phoenixes, that just kind of totally shuts that down. So we're gonna see if he can make some magic happen with whatever number of Mutas he's able to summon up. It's gonna survive with 7 health. Oh man, yeah. So it survives with 7 health, and he starts crowning the Phoenix, starts the cannons. So yeah, it's gonna be 7 mutas.
I muted myself.
But these mutas are gonna be confronted with 2 cannons each base, and Phoenixes. Yeah, that's really not the start you want. Losing drones, getting your mutas scouted. When you're going 2-base muta, you can't really afford to lose any extra drones. I mean, at all. Look, he's got 9 drones on minerals in his main. Not really what you want. He doesn't even have speed started.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is
No speed, no
basically has
third base.
mutas.
Yeah, he's basically got some mutas, and that's it. And there's already 2 Phoenix out. Probably going to be a third one here shortly. Once Carabot gets unsupply blocked. Actually, he's not building any pylons right now. Wait, yeah, he was. I'm looking at the wrong player. That's why. I mean, there's already cannons in the middle line as well. These mutas are going to do a grand total of probably nothing, especially seeing the Phoenix out now. That's a darn.
I feel like maybe if he had like proxied the Spire or something like that, but just kind of sticking it at the back of his main and counting on his opponent not to scout them, and then just kind of die to 7 mutas. Seems a bit... I don't know. I really did like how Picker executed the muta. He had like 13 to start with and 7 to follow up with. Like when you can have 20 mutas, that's when you can start like picking off cannons, picking off those Phoenixes. But just with the 7, I feel like you just have to have your opponent completely unaware, maybe with like sentries and a zealot, just like we saw him caught off guard that first game by those roaches.
Yeah.
But then with that Oracle just for scouting, obviously that's unlucky that he went for Oracle, but Oracle in the PvZ matchup, not too unusual, not too crazy.
He's got all these mutas here. He's got 10 mutas that aren't really doing anything at the moment. He's going into a Hydra Gen, so probably going into Ling Hydra to try and follow this up, considering his opponent is most likely going to have a lot of Stalkers and some of those Phoenix. I mean, he did stop at 3 Phoenix. But still, this amount of stalkers and a third base coming down, this third is going to be timed out pretty much the exact same as Detner's even, and that's really rough for a Zerg player to try to deal
And
with.
see, Karak is actually moving out on the map a little bit. He has no proxy pylon, so nobody would like to reinforce this push. So actually, that could really work out to Detner's advantage if these Hydras are about to pop. 11 Hydras. 11 Hydras would totally be able to decimate this Protoss army we see here. Oh, almost picking all the Phoenix this mutas. He really needs Ling speed.
Oh, yeah. No link speed really hurts right
Everything's
now.
just so slow. No Ling speed and slow Hydras. Yeah, he's gonna pick off 2 of the Phoenixes. One is very low, 6 health.
Nice force fields there from Kerouac, just making sure
Totally
he's
shut
going to be
off
safe.
the
He
just
goes some
recalling.
recalls, yeah. Is he going to start remaking any Phoenix? Because he just lost his only 2, or he lost 2 of his 3 Phoenix. This last one is at almost no health.
Yeah, so there goes the current on another Phoenix. So he's gonna try and go like kind of that Phoenix Colossus mix. It's so good at killing everything there, guys. Detner. I'm not really sure why he hasn't started speed yet. Oh, and this Oracle is just getting 3 more kills, 4 kills, and it's still not going to go down. It's so annoying. Just every couple of minutes, just running that in. Adding, why not? Why not just run that in? Get a couple more kills, add to that kill count.
I mean, it's the annoyance if you don't kill the Oracle when it first comes in, it's going to come back and start killing things later on in the game when you're not paying that much attention to it. And it's got 11 kills on Oracle. It paid for itself in its first attack and then some, and it came back and did more damage. I mean, that's more larva that has to go back into drones.
I mean, honestly,
Oh my
just
God, the drone
getting
count.
that scout on the Spire for the Oracle is really just that. Like that paid for itself there. The drone kills were just kind of the icing on the cake there. And then what do you think about Detner's build here? He's still just now starting Ling speed. It's about a minute and a half away from being done. I feel like he's gonna be hit by like a Colossus timing with like maybe 2 or 3 Colossus with range, 140 supply for Karak, and he's gonna have basically just nothing. He's gonna have Hydras and a couple mutas.
Yeah.
This is a really tough position to be in.
I think the best situation for Detner is if he's going to be able to, I don't know, hopefully zone out some of the Colossus, maybe be able to attack those with just his mutas, use the mutas for that, and then hope that the rest of his army can kill enough of the Protoss army before it gets shredded by the Colossus. There's only one Colossus. Does it have range? It does have range, so I'm not sure why he's not making more. To be honest.
We're looking at he has currently 19 Hydras. That's a pretty huge investment. Those could be just a ton more meta. And I really feel like if he had just gone up to 30, 35 meta, and then like you talked about, like maybe showing the initial Hydras and then switching back into the mutas, so forcing out the Colossus and then getting the mutas and just being able to snipe them. Because look, Karak, he made 3 Phoenixes and he stopped. If Detner showed up with 35, 40 muta, he'd definitely be able to get it. Yeah,
He's going for Corruptors as well.
I
It's
don't
kind of
know.
like overlapping your tech almost. Well, I mean, what else can he do? If he goes for Vipers, then Phoenix just fly on top of the Vipers and.
Yeah, I feel like there's not enough time to get Vipers out. By the
That's
time
it.
that he has his hive done, he's basically probably just gonna die. He does have pretty good upgrades. 2/2 starting versus just the +1 attack of Karak, and +2 is almost done. So he's gonna have an upgrade lead.
The problem right now is, I mean, you can see it already. The banks for both players, 3,000 minerals almost in the bank for Kerouac right now. It's translating into he's going to be throwing down a lot more gateways, and he's got 3 more on the way already. He's got his Templar Archives on the way. He's getting everything up that he wants to have up, and he can take a 4th base if he wanted to, because there's no way he can be punished right now. It's just not going to happen. He can't be punished by Detner. I mean, Detner is taking his 4th hatchery. He's actually taking it in a pretty ballsy spot out front there, and Phoenix coming in and once again killing off some of the drones over here. Can they even get away? It looks like they're going to. So, good job for these Phoenix. They all survive even, and they get the scout up on the 4th base. That is a sinking feeling for the Zerg player. But that said, he's got a lot of units. He's up to 81 army supply. And he's down army supply still. Regardless, it's just if you can't get your 3rd base up minutes ahead of the Protoss player, it's so hard to get. Supply advantage. He's actually going for a 2nd Spire. Is he going to try to go like full on air against?
I think so. I think he's gonna go go for that
Brew Corruptor, I guess.
Brood Lord, yeah. But I don't think he has the time. Like, this money that he invested into this Hydras, I don't think he realized how expensive that is and how much that, like, detracts from his army. So here comes just a massive force from Karak. And, yeah, there's no way this Zerg army is going to be able to do it. Here's this 3 Colossus push I was talking about. With the range, everything is just melting in fiery haze. And will he be able to get the 1 Colossus? Yes, 1 Colossus goes down for Deadner at the cost of basically everything.
Pretty much. Even at the start of that fight, the Corruptors were focusing on the Phoenix instead of the Colossus. So he wasn't actually doing damage on things that needed to be doing damage. And she's going to run the Ling straight into the army. He could have gotten a little bit of damage maybe done onto the Colossus, but I think Kerouac, he can pull back if he wanted to, but he does not need to. He realizes that these Colossus are going to be untouched, and they'll GG out of Detner. We will be going into game number 3 here in the center. First game 3 of the day.
Yep, the last match of the series. As you mentioned, all the other series were 2-0s, so this is definitely our closest series today. I feel like these players seem quite evenly matched, and yeah, I feel like that game Karak finally got to play like his style. You know, a little bit more of a macro focus, getting up those Colossus. Really good scouting with that Oracle. Good damage with the Oracle as well. He got, I think, 11 drone kills at the end of the game. It just kind of made a crushing army. Like, it's very difficult. It's honestly very difficult for a Zerg army to deal with that army that he had with those 3 Colossus, and then just supplementing out with Stalkers and Sentries. But then, when you're facing a Zerg player that's already so far behind, based off the opening, it's even more deadly. So yeah, good, definitely good decisions. And I really like the Mita's idea was cool. Like the 2-base Mita, I'm always a fan of like super fast like tech play. But then he just made 7 and kind of just like had them AFK at the front of his base. Like he never even tried to do damage.
It's a terrible thing, especially it got scouted, and when you commit so hard to a build like that, you're sticking on 2 base as a Zerg player versus Protoss. You have to do damage. He got absolutely blind countered. And the same thing happened to me in a CTL match earlier last season. I think it was on Iron Forge. I was going for like a 2-base Muta play, and then my opponent was blind going double Stargate.
Yeah,
and so I just immediately I canceled the Spire. I had to back out. I had no idea what was going on. It turned into a really weird game, but those things happen as a Zerg player, and it's rough to come back from. And Detner just wasn't quite able to do its last game, but we are into game 3. It's going to be on Iron Fortress here, spawning in the bottom left. Our Protoss player in pink from Foremost Gaming. This is Kerouac.
And this is, again, going back to the 4-player maps. Not... I don't know. Again, like these 4-player maps, they're weird. It's hard to scout. It's going to have a crazy game. And, you know, they are... Again, close positions, close by air, so the scouting, it's not going to be too far for anyone, especially if Karak decides to go for that kind of like aggressive robo-based play that we saw him try against Picker. It's going to be hard for Detner to defend it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, we do see this pylon on the high ground once again for Kerouac, and that's what worked in game number 2 for him. He's just going to do that again. And just curious to see if Detner's going to change anything up. I mean, he stopped at 13 supply. Looks like we're going to have a pull down and maybe a little bit of early gas and speed as well. And if that Probe ran away, I would have been so shocked. Kerouac has been so good with his early game scouting. He wants to see this. There we go. He does see the pool. He sees the gas as well, so he knows speed is coming. He knows that he's going to be facing up like a bunch of Lings, but he should be pretty well prepared against this with the gateway on the high ground already. Should not be too much of a problem.
I don't know. I feel like this is it's kind of like it seems like it's too late to really work. Because like you mentioned, this gateway is going to be finishing at the same time as the spawning pool, and then just if he chronos out a zealot and then gets another wall up, as long as he doesn't get like supply blocked or anything like crazy like that, it looks like it should be able to hold it quite well. Yeah,
I mean, you can kind of vary this as a Zerg player. He could just completely skip speed and go for Burrow instead. I mean, speed is... Well, it's going to be well. He's not even making Lings right now. So he's making drones. I think he realizes this got scouted completely, and he doesn't want to
Yeah.
try and force the issue too much. He's just
Where
going to
do
get
you
speed
go
and be
for
happy.
this?
Take 2 bases really quickly. I don't know.
I guess, yeah. It's just
Oh,
I feel like it
he's
just sets you so behind.
gonna bang bust actually.
Okay.
Maybe. I guess he could roach, but I kind of wish he would pull these drones out of gas just to hide it from the probe. Oh, gotta go
Yeah.
kill that probe. I have to kill that probe. It's not gonna happen though, because he wants to throw down this bane nest here in just a second. I assume bane nest. I guess it could still be roaches, but I don't know.
Maybe I feel like it could work. We see the mothership core is still okay. There we go. It's starting, but he's supply locked unfortunately. Ah, the worst feeling ever as a Protoss player when you chrono boost into supply block. So as soon as this final finishes up, Karak is gonna have that mothership core in the way, and the mothership core shuts down any sort of like super early aggression from Zerg. I feel like that's really why we don't see it too often, as you just focus the Banes, you focus the roaches. And
He's not making a bane. He's not making anything with his gas. He's got 120 gas now. Even
Yes, this
Burrow would be
probe-
nice at this point, because I mean this natural isn't down. It's gonna be hard to get up. If he floods a lot of lings and just denies the nat for a long time, I mean, what's he got? He's got a zealot. He's got 2 zealots. Still, you can
This-
surround
this
those and
poor-
kill off. But
this poor probe is finally going to be taken out. I feel like it's a long time for scouting probe. It had a nice full life. He was able to scout. And actually, interestingly enough, is this wall for Karak? That is a 2 zealot wall. Just
Oh,
noticed
it
that.
is.
So, if he had actually gone like way earlier, it's way too late now. But if he had gone earlier,
well, I mean, if
and
he
tried to
sees
run
this,
past
oh
it-
no, you
oh
can,
no,
you can
okay,
get through
wait,
that,
never
yeah.
mind. Okay, yeah, it's a good wall.
Well, he's
That's,
gonna
just,
he's gonna try and do this. If he can micro back some of these hurtlings a little bit, you can still get damage done onto this nexus. If he keeps if he kept flooding lings, it's a little bit too late now. The Mothership Core will be able to handle this before the nexus goes down. He's not gonna have to cancel anything like that, and especially with the sentry as well. He's gonna back off from here. I mean, that's a lot of larva invested into this. He's about to catch up on the worker count here in just a second. There we go, 28 to 22 now. He does have his natural finished. So, I mean, all in all, it's not a terrible open here for Detner. It definitely scared Kerouac, and he's got a Stargate on the way. I mean, an Oracle would be great against all these lings if there were a ton of lings still coming, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of drones, and, well, Detner needs to scout. That's about it.
Yeah. And how do you feel about
He's going for this early
getting
gas again.
other gases? Is he
Yeah.
going Meta again?
Oh.
If it's Meta again and Karak already has the Stargate,
Yeah.
he's just
Again,
really,
you
I
just-
feel like
you need
everything
to
has just
scout.
gone wrong for Denner this game.
Yeah, the same way in Game 1 for Kerouac, where pretty much everything that could go wrong went wrong. It's happening to Detner right now. He got scouted first, and
He's even gonna. Oh no,
He's
he's
gonna-
gonna lose the Overlord as well. Just
it's
again,
no information.
so unfortunate. Yeah, he has to make another
Well,
Overlord, and it is gonna be the Oracle again.
Here's the thing. This Oracle should show up before... It'll probably show up as the lair finishes. So
Yeah,
maybe
if
the
he sees
Spire doesn't go
Oracle,
down.
Yeah,
Maybe he can switch.
not make
but
the Spire and then going like
pull-
upgraded lanes.
He needs to
Just,
pull
like,
out of
honestly,
gas.
just getting a Roach Warren and just getting
Yeah.
just speed.
There's no reason to be in gas. As soon as he sees this Oracle, he should hopefully pull out, because he's got, 4, 7, 10 drones on gas right now, and that leaves 20 on minerals. He's getting a 3rd hatchery, which is nice, but he's got no mineral income. There we go, 11 more drones just got made.
Yeah, this Oracle is speeding its way across. Oh, and the Spire does go down. This Oracle, it's gonna scout it. It's heading straight for the main. This Oracle is gonna do a lot of damage too, as there's no extra queens, no spores started. Zap, 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 zap.
And he clicks on
And
the
it's-
Spire as
yeah.
well, so he knows. Again. And there's the drone pull, but 6 workers go down once again. And Detner trying to dance around with these drones to keep them a little bit alive. Keep them alive, but still more and more going down. 10, 11, could he get 12? He's going to get 12, almost 13. He probably could have gotten 13, but he does go ahead and back on out. But there we go, Spire gets cancelled, so good decision by Detner. He is going to force the
But he's
Phoenix
down-
out.
He's down 6 drones.
Yeah. Hydrogen.
Okay, if I was Denner, I'm just doing like, I'm getting like Hydra range and then just moving across the map with still Hydra attack and hope that my opponent took a fast third or something. That's greedy. Because
Yeah.
this is a terrible position to be in as any Zerg player. Like, look how much, he has 900 gas. And he's at 37 drones.
Oh, that's all. That's rough. Investors, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
And he's forced to make spines. So that's 200 minerals. Like, now he's at 100 minerals, 1,000 gas. when you're going for like just anything anything that's not Muto or Infestor, it's just such a terrible position to be in, like forced to make these defensive structures. I don't really know what you do.
Yeah, well, he's going to lose his third base. That's one thing he's going to do. Hopefully Karabuk doesn't try to push into the main, or the natural, because that... Well, I mean, the spines aren't finished, so I guess it could be okay. And the Oracle coming in as well to do a little bit of damage with Spore Collars here. That almost takes it out, but one spine does... Well, actually, 2 spines finish, but... Oh, and the force field on the ramp even. I mean, 9 Hydras trying to pop out. This might just be enough damage. I mean, what is this? 4 Sentries, 4 Stalkers, and a Zealot, and a Militia Core. This might win the game.
Versus 7 Hydras.
Just constantly
that are
force
popping out piecemeal. I think we're slowly seeing the end of our Zerg player, Detner here. Just as he's moving out, as every Hydra spawns, it's just totally shut down. This man is still being force filled. He has 2 full energy sentries. Like, you can force fill this forever. He doesn't even have a pylon nearby, so he can't reinforce very well. But it doesn't really matter. His army is like virtually unkillable. And at this point, look at the damage done. 13 more drones, 14 more drones been down. He's gonna get the natural. I mean, even if this army dies for like no further gain, it's just done exactly what you need to do at this point.
Does he
even get a recall?
He didn't actually see that the third base is there. I mean, he does now with the Oracle, so he could have walked over and killed that, but decided not to. He's a merciful god, apparently. But I don't know, that was 12 more drones that went down, and he's lost a total of 26 in this game. It's a lot of drones to lose. I mean, he does have the second hatch at least, so he does have that going for him. We do see a Robo coming up, and the Phoenix aren't going to be able to do too much. They can probably walk in and do some more harassment a little bit later on. We did see Kerouac do that last game, and it worked out pretty well for him. Doing that later in the game, walking in with a bunch of Phoenix and killing him. What was that, 3 or 4 more drones? Wow, Evo going down on no creep.
Yeah, it's a bold decision from our Zergy pal, and he's down 40 supply.
Still with 1300 gas though.
Yeah, I don't know. You never want to call a game, and
No.
obviously like crazy things can happen. Karak could